get started here. Okay, we are officially recording. Okay, so what's going to happen is today we're going to talk about becoming the woman, the version of you that can actually blow the fuck up in the next year, because that is required, right? It is required to have two pieces to grow your business, scale your business, to blow up. It's the version of you that can, the version of you that makes decisions to do that, and the version of you that executes that, and then have an actual tangible plan to do that. I think that in this industry, I've been here for 10 years, a lot of people miss one or the other, or they only coach one or the other, or they only coach subsections. What that means is someone maybe coaches mindset, right? But they don't coach shadow work. So they're only coaching like a really small piece of the pie. Or they coach business, but they coach marketing, or they coach offers, or they coach certifications, which is such a small subset of actually building and growing and scaling a business. And because I've been in business 10 years, because I've had multiple businesses, business models, agencies, service providing, coaching, life coaching, like I've done all the things in 10 years. I've now been a place where I not only coach shadow work, because that is literally my thing. That's like my gift that I was given, was to be a shadow work coach, but also to coach business from a really simple strategic mindset. I am diagnosed autistic and ADHD. My brain works in a very, very specific yet simple way to not only teach, very bold, very direct, but also my brain works in a certain way to see business in a certain way. This behind me is like a perfect example of how my brain works in what I teach, right? I teach in very like, this would equal this would do this. Therefore, why are we doing this other thing that some other person told you to do? So over the next 3 days, we're going to start with day 1 today, becoming the woman that actually does that, because it is required. And then tomorrow I'm going to teach, can your business actually do that? Because so many of you here are going to tell me, I want to make six figures. And I'm going to say, oh my God, yes. Tell me about your business. Tell me about your offers. Tell me about your pricing. Tell me about all your things. And you're going to start telling me, and I'm going to say, your business can't do that. It is not actually structured to do that. So let me fix it. And then on day 3, I'm going to tell you about my 3-year plan and how to actually create a structured business that can scale. And throughout this week, I am absolutely going to sell to you. I am going to pitch you into my mastermind. Yes, I am. That is what I'm here to do. I'm here to change lives. And while I'm 100% going to do that over the next week, your brain will be so expanded, your mind will be blown, and you'll never see business the same after this. I also know that 3 days is just simply not enough to grow and scale a multi 6-figure business, right? We all know that. We've been here long enough to know it's going to require time. So I'm going to make an invite at the end of this week to join me in my expansion room mastermind. The applications just opened today. You have today through next Wednesday, October 22nd, to put in your application and your deposit of $888 to secure your spot. Next week, Wednesday, October 22nd through the 24th, I will review applications and personally let you know if you've been accepted or denied. If you're denied, your deposit is refunded immediately. I don't keep your money. But if you're accepted, you get onboarding, you get to join, and you have 30 days to start your first payment or pay in full. And we will kick off where we will absolutely create, build, and scale your empire, your successful business. So this is going to take you out of hustle mode, out of guessing, out of this place of like, I'm making money, but like, I don't really know what I'm doing here, into like a fully scaled empire. Now, for everyone here, empire is a really big, bold word. That's why I chose it, because that's my personality. But for some of you, maybe an empire is like, I'm going to start this business and scale it because I want to write a book and speak on stages. Maybe some of you are like, I'm doing this because I want to start a nonprofit and help women who have been in domestically violent relationships change their life. And I know that I can't do that here, but I'm going to create a nonprofit that does it here. For some of you, maybe your empire is literally like generational wealth, and you're going to buy farmland and raise chickens and raise your kids there and homeschool them and then teach them a new way of living. Your empire gets to be whatever it is that you want it to be, but we're going to build it right here. Whether you're a coach, whether you're a service provider, and whether you think you're not ready for scaling or not, you're probably going to change your mind there. Because I have a firm belief that if you have it in your mind that you want a big life, you want a big business, you want to change lives and make big impact, and you want freedom and you want to make a lot of money, it will require you to start planning for that now and acting as if you're doing that right now. If you want 6 and multi 6 figures in the next 3 years, you must start right now, not when year 3 comes. Because for most of you, you've been in business. more than 1 to 3 years. And you still have the same goals. But what has happened is you've gotten to this place where you don't actually know how to hit them. You don't know how to do the plan or follow the plan. And then what happens is we go out and we launch offers and we do this thing, but then our identity kind of is like, I don't think we can do this. Remember the last time we did that didn't work. Remember this, and this thing, and that didn't work. Or you're like, I know how to grow, I know how to hustle, I know how to go out and sign a client, but I don't know how to scale. And I don't know how to scale and also not work more. And that's what we're going to cover this week. Okay. Before I get too far into this, I want to say first and foremost is if you have any questions during this week about anything I'm coaching, if you have questions about being in the mastermind, just message me. Message me on Instagram, message me in school, ask in the community, ask questions, show up, engage throughout the week. I recently ran a container for 6 weeks and I had multiple women in this container who were like hiding behind the scenes. No one could see them. They're just like creeping around watching. And I said, I really want to challenge you this next 6 weeks to show up, to be seen, to ask questions, and allow yourself to be vulnerable in a group. It will change your life. 6 weeks from that moment, we ended the group. She was like, my life has completely changed. I've made better, faster decisions. I feel like a totally brand new person in 6 weeks just from simply showing up and being seen. So do that. Take the time this week to do that, to ask questions, to be here, to be involved. Okay. If you are considering being in the mastermind, but there's this little voice in your head that's like, you're not ready, you're not ready, you're not ready, we're going to clean that up for you today. Okay. Hello. Welcome to 3 Days Live with me. My name is Tay Daniels. I'm the owner and the founder of Breadwinner Energy Company, and I started my very first business in 2016, full-time at 7 months pregnant. I left my 9 to 5 and I said, I'm going to build a business. I was 23 years old. I had $100 to my name. I had wrecked credit, no degree, and I lived on WIC. And I thought, I'm going to start a business. And me and my shitty Toshiba laptop and PayPal, we started a virtual assistant business, and not many people knew what that was back then. And 2 years later, I was going through a divorce, leaving my abusive ex-husband, physically and mentally abusive, and I still did not have enough money to be a single mom. But hell or high water, I was going to figure it out. And 6 months from that point on, I scaled to an agency as a virtual assistant and an online business manager. In 2020, I moved into coaching. 2021, I became a certified coach, a 6-figure coach. And since then, I have built my 7-figure empire, Breadwinner Energy Company, where I help women become the breadwinner of their own life, financially, mentally, emotionally, through entrepreneurship. Because the thing is, it does not matter where you come from. It does not matter if you grew up in a trailer with your single mom like me and told everyone in your neighborhood, I'm going to be rich and famous one day. And it doesn't matter if you're married to someone who does not believe in you in this moment. You are capable of changing your entire life. Just the beginning of it is right here in this room. And I promise you to deliver some of my best work to you because I fully love what I do. I know that this is like the thing that I meant to do is change women's lives. And I take my work very, very seriously. And it's also really important for me to share the stories of what I've been through so that you can place yourself in. It doesn't matter if you're new. It doesn't matter if you're broke. It doesn't matter where you've come from. If it's on your heart, you can have it and you can create it. But first and foremost, you must become the woman who does it. And that's what we're going to do today. How was my intro, you guys? That was pretty good, wasn't it? Not to toot my own horn. As you guys are coming in, hello, welcome. I would love for all of you to tell me in the chat, what does an empire look like to you? We started this call with an empire could be raising chickens on a farm and homeschooling kids. It could be speaking on stages. It could be writing a book. It could be making millions of dollars and changing lives. And it could be a mix of all of those things. It could be that on the weekends, I'm at home barefoot with my kids, painting, playing sand, and baking sourdough. And during the week, I'm literally changing women's lives and making thousands and millions of dollars. You get to decide what your empire looks like, but tell me in the chat, what does it look like to you? What would an empire be to you? It's really important that we establish, why are you here? What do you want to do? How much money do you want to make? Why do you want to make it? What's it going to do for your life? How is it going to change your life? Put it in the chat. What would an empire be to you? What would your empire be and consist of? An empire to me is making a huge shift in a beauty industry while still having the time to travel and enjoy my home. Ooh, I love that. Good. Yeah, balance. A lot of people in my life too and my clients want balance. This balance of like raising kids, having a family, traveling, and also changing the world. Like, how cool are you? So tell me in the chat what your empire consists of. And also tell me in the chat too, how much money do you want to make in the next 3 years? Not collective, meaning like all 3 years combined. Like by 2028, this is how much money I'm making for 1 year. Tell me in the chat, what is that number? Maybe some of you don't know. Others, you might have a very specific number. But tell me in the chat, what's the number? Don't be shy. As I said, as I started this, I'm going to push you out of your comfort zone. The more you can do that, the more success you will have. What is that number? Tell me in the chat. Do you know that number? This is going to be really helpful for the work that we do over this week. So if you don't know, you can just say you don't know. And I'm going to ask you questions in the chat after. But for some of you, maybe you do. Ooh, Lucy wants a global brand. She wants to sell digital products, write a book, speak on TV. Ooh, I love that. And she wants to make $150,000. Let's go, Lucy. I love it. And if you don't want to share your exact number, you can ballpark. You can say, I want to make 6 figures. I want to make 7. I want to make multi-6. 2028, I want to be making 250K a year. Amazing. Okay, perfect. So let's talk about becoming the woman that can. Okay. There's going to be some of you today that can fully see yourself in this, like, I'm doing this. This is me. I don't want to do this anymore. And there's going to be some of you who are like, I'm past that. I've done so much mindset work. I am so self-aware. And if you are that person, I want to challenge you that is incredibly not true. And that maybe you need some more of the work than you think, because at every level of business, of income, of growing, of scaling, will present new shadows, will present new obstacles in your mind, new limiting beliefs that you did not realize at every single level. The identity that you're operating from right now, today, created the reality that you're currently sitting in. And we have to alchemize that identity into the version of you that makes $100,000 a year, that makes $250,000 a year. You will have to become that version of yourself and operate as that version of yourself to make decisions, to show up, to run the business. Therefore, it will then manifest into reality, a new business. You don't make the money and then become the version. Okay? So this is required at every single level. And I guarantee every person here has done some personal development, some mindset work, is self-aware in some way, one way or another, because you're in entrepreneurship and it's 2025. I know you're self-aware, but I'm going to show you something different in the way that I teach this, that maybe you haven't seen it before. And it's going to be really clear of why your business hasn't done the thing you want it to do yet. Okay. The chat's blowing up. I love it. Keep going. Keep blowing it up. Like, yes, let's go. Okay. We're going to first identify, are you making decisions from survival and fear identity or from expansion identity? I'm going to rapid fire a couple of these and you tell me in the chat, which one are you more inclined to make decisions out of survival and fear or expansion? Okay. Survival and fearful identity decisions look like you make decisions out of fear. What if it's not going to work for me? When you're going to invest, you think to yourself, well, what if this doesn't work for me? Well, how do I know for sure this is going to work for me? You go into this place of what ifs. You need validation before you can take action. You need outside validation from friends, from your partner, from your family, from strangers on the internet, from your neighbor across the street, from your coach, from your peers. You need everyone to validate that what you're doing is a good idea. You equate being busy with being productive. Therefore, you do a lot of busy tasks in your business, but you don't make a lot of money. Yeah? Okay. Maybe you are selling reactively when your money dips or when you feel this, like, I really need to go make money right now. So you go chase after the thing you know how to do to make money right now, but you don't know how to actually expand into scaling, right? Maybe you avoid investing because you don't actually trust yourself to get a result. Or my favorite, I've already invested so much money and I never get a return. I've invested in all these things. Okay, but that requires you to not just spend the money or join the calls, but to do something with the coaching that you received, right? When I go into an investment, I always think to myself, I will always get a return. No matter what the investment is, I will get a return. Sometimes it's a literal lesson learned about myself and how I can be a better leader, a better coach, a better business owner. But sometimes it's, what am I actually doing while I'm here to make money, to put myself in business mindset? Okay. If you're still in fearful survival mode, you're living in your mind drama and you're living in this like unsureness. We're always like, how do I do it? How do I do it? But I don't know how. But is it going to work for me? How do I do it? And sometimes even we're playing victim mindset to our circumstances. It can't work for me because it just hasn't worked for me. It can work for her, but it can't work for me. Okay. Trisha said, I've been catching myself doing this and I'm in the creation process of, yeah, for her signature offer. Yes, catching yourself is so important when you're in this space. Okay, but let's talk about what it's like to be in expansion mindset. Okay. You make decisions from strategy, you make decisions from sureness. Yeah. Not how do I make it work? Like, can it work for me? But really, like, okay, how do I make this work for me? Like, how do I problem solve this solution from a place of like, if I want this, what do I need to do to obtain it? Right? You either need to change your mind or you need to change your goal or your approach. Okay. You move first and then evidence follows. When I wanted to make six figures back in 2021, at the very beginning of the year, I said, I'm so tired of working 40-hour weeks in my business for 5K months. I want 10K months. I want to make six figures. You know what I did? I hired a coach for $10,000. My husband sold his car so that I could invest $10,000. I had never seen that much money in 1 month. I never made that amount of money, but I knew I want to make it this year. 3 months later, I launched my first ever group coaching program, had a $10,000 launch that turned to a $30,000 launch. And in 6 months, I made six figures. You know why? Because I acted first. I invested first. Now, for some of you, you're going to say, but Tay, I just don't have that kind of money. You're going back to survival and fearful. If you want to be in entrepreneurship and make six and multi six figures, you have to be willing to play the game of risk. Now, there's a strategic business way to risk money because you are willing to get a return and just throwing money at any and everything you can to solve your problems and your emotions. Two totally different mindsets. I would never want someone to spend money they don't have if they're not in the right business mindset to recoup money, to make money, right? To do the thing required to grow and scale your business. But that takes a different version of you. Okay. You are selling consistently because you have systems in your business. This is what happens when you're in expansion mode. You have systems and processes that get you leads and that get you money and that get you sales on a regular basis, not live launching and live selling 24/7. Okay. You invest because you know that you are your best ROI. You invest in you, like mentally, emotionally, not just money. You like invest in yourself to be the best version of you. Okay. You live in problem solving. You will see yourself differently when you go from, I don't know, but how, but I can't see it. I just don't know. I'm just doing all the things to how do I solve this problem? As a business owner, how do I solve this problem? Those are two totally different energies. Okay. So there's top shadows that I see in most business owners across the board, and I have combined them into what I see and how this is holding you back from growing and scaling and blowing up in the next 2 years in your business. Okay. What I see is control and perfection. You want to be in every single detail. You want it to be perfect. It's never good enough, right? You think, and maybe if it's not in your business, it's in your home life. So you are like controlling all areas of your home life. You're not delegating anything. You have to fold the towels because you fold them into triangles and he folds them into ugly squares. And you can't have ugly square towels in your house. So then we have to have them into triangles. But then you're so exhausted because you have to fold all the towels into triangles. And you're so resentful because you just don't have any time. But yet you're sitting down for 3 hours a day, folding towels into triangles. I'm being funny here, but this is what happens when we're living in this, like, it has to be in this perfect way. If it's not in this perfect way, it won't work. That is holding you back from growing and scaling your business. Number 2 is the martyr. My kids are the problem. My life is the problem. My circumstances are the problem. I don't have time, but my schedule, but my job. Like literally every single thing is the reason you don't grow your business. Every single thing. Every single thing is in the way of you having the life you want. And it's always something or someone else. It's not you, the martyr. Okay. Number 3 is the validation junkie. You live for validation, and when you don't receive it, you don't move forward. Or you place so much value in the hands of others, the church, your friends, your family, the society, coaches, the online world, and if they tell you they don't like it, or you post about it for 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and you don't get validation, aka sales, you quit. You change niches. You ghost your business. You don't show up. Yeah. Number 4, scarcity saver. I will invest money when I make it. If you knew how to make enough money so that you could just easily invest, what? You wouldn't need the investment, right? You wouldn't need to invest in it. If you knew how to make money on demand, why do you need to invest it in the thing that you're saying, I will invest it when? I will invest in this program to learn how to make money in 6 figures and multi 6 figures when I make it. When you make that money, when it feels comfortable and easy, is not the point of expansion. Expansion happens when you decide to invest first, right? Okay, I don't know what number 1, maybe 5. Fear of success. Most people probably thought I was going to write fear of failure. I don't think so. I think more people are afraid of success than they are failure. Failure is easy. Failure happens a lot. Failure is like almost like to be expected, where fear of success is different than what you've ever had or experienced before. Because success is new, taboo, your nervous system hasn't actually experienced what it's like to create or have or hold success, that is far more scary than failure. Most of you probably have a lot of comfort in failure because you're used to it. But success, not so much. Success also could come with, who does she think she is? Why is she wearing that? Did you hear she makes this amount of money, but did you hear she spends her money on this? She's not even good with money. That's what happens at expansion. You're seen more. There's more eyes on you. Well, I don't really like her offer. Well, I don't really like the way she coaches. And that is far more scary to be seen and perceived and judged and to hold that level than it is to just not be seen at all. It's so much easier and comfortable to stay behind the scenes, never show yourself, never join a group, never get into Mastermind, never show people that you're vulnerable, never openly fail online in front of the world, right? Like it's so much easier to just stay in your little bubble of like certifications and skills and let's talk about our niche and what colors our brand should be than it is to go out in the world and say, this is what I do, this is how I change lives, this is what I'm really good at, this is my process, this is what I believe in. And I charge $10,000 to be in this room and it will change your life forever. There's a big difference in those two places, right? So we have to check ourselves. Are we falling into these categories and operating our life and business from fear, or because we're operating from this place of like, I want to change my whole life from expansion? Okay. The last one's not enoughness. I don't have enough skills, certifications, trainings. I don't have enough knowledge. I don't have enough magic. I don't have enough years in the game to create success. Which one are you? Put it in the chat. Control, perfection, martyr, validation, scarcity, fear of success, and not enough. I'm going to drop those in the chat for you guys. Wait a minute. Maybe it's telling me there's too many characters. So let me cut it in half. Trying to limit how long-winded I can be here. Which one are you? Control and scarcity. Okay. I also want you guys to see, are you making more business decisions out of fear and survival or out of expansion? And are you making them from those shadows? Validation and success. Okay. This will be a very clear picture too of what your business currently is. Whenever I go through these trainings with people at both of my containers, this is like the first thing we do. It's like identifying your shadows and your blocks. The moment I know that about somebody, I can already tell you what your business is or isn't doing. I can tell you how much money you are or aren't making, the results you are or aren't getting, because they all come from this place. They all come from the identity that you're operating out of. That is what absolutely creates your reality. You create your reality. You're in charge of that, right? But for most of us, we've been conditioned by society, from our parents, from a very young age. Your subconscious has been conditioned And that is what you operate out of. And that is the results you get. And it just keeps you in this loop over and over and over again. Okay, we've got martyr, fear of success, not feeling good enough, weird mix of fear of failure. I'm sorry, fear of success and also fear of failure, fear of success. Okay, so let's go into control. No one can do it like me. If I'm not perfect, people will think I'm unprofessional. I'll just tweak it one more time. You launch it, you talk about the offer, and then you change it. And then you launch it, and then you change it. And then you're like, that's not good enough. So then you never do it. And then you ghost it, and then you hide. Maybe you micromanage every single thing. So even if you have an assistant or a team member, you don't delegate. You don't give them enough things. Or you're constantly like hovering. Are you doing it right? Or then you like redact it. You're like, okay, I thought I could give this to you, but like I'll just do it. Right? Maybe a lot of that. Constantly redoing your offers, your graphics, your programs, your niches, procrastinating and calling it refinement, rebirthing, just making sure it's just perfect. It's so good, right? So no one can ever really see it. Yeah. All of your business decisions are made from fear and playing small at the same time because expansion will require you to let it go. Require you. Expansion, expanding into scaling to six and multi six figures will require you to let shit go. Whether that's the laundry, the dishes, or things on your to do list for your business, you will have to delegate. You will have to create systems around those things. The point of scaling is not more of you, it's actually less of you. The more money I've made in business, the less I've worked. Every year that I've made more money, I've worked less. Right now, I have one person on my team, my assistant. When I made my first six figures, I had nobody on my team. And then when I went to multi six figures, I had an OBM on my team. And at one time, one of our alumni students came in to help me co-coach because I was pregnant and then on maternity leave. So she co-coached with me. So that's the only people outside of, there's at one point we did a Pinterest manager contractor. We've done a social media manager contractor. Right now, my web designer is redesigning. She's on project basis. I do not have like this full big team running every single angle of my business. I don't want to do that. I want it to be simple and clean and scalable. And so when you come into my world, into my mastermind, we're building a business that is scalable and fits the life you want to live, but we're doing it from the mindset of expansion. So whenever you present to me, well, I only want to do this because, and it comes from fear, I'm going to ask you to challenge that into, is this the expansion version of yourself that wants to scale? Or is this in fear because it feels better and easier to hold on to all the things? Yeah. So most of the time, what I see is overwhelm and burnout, and then you call it productivity. But really, it's control and perfectionism. Yeah. Here's what will happen. You will be stuck under six figures because every single thing in your life and business depends on you. Okay. You will have slow launches or you won't launch at all. Probably your inner mean girl and inner child are taking turns running your business and like yelling and screaming at each other. And then you're in the back, like your higher self is back behind there. Like, just, are we done yet? Are you guys done arguing? Right. And then that's what's on the outside of your business. And then you're like, I've been doing all the things. I don't know why I'm making money. And then what I'm going to ask you is, have you, for at least 6 to 12 months, committed to one ideal client to get one result and sold one offer? Well, no. So you haven't actually done all the things. You've what? Invested, got your mindset together, read some books, took some courses, manifested abundance, affirmations. I journaled about it. Have you actually implemented a strategy around it? That's the question. And have you stuck to said strategy long enough for people to know what you're doing? Tell me in the chat. Are you, number one, I have no strategy. I'm posting and praying. I hardly know what's going on. I'm just hoping one day I figure this out. Or are you, I know what to do and make money, and I have a pretty good plan, but I don't know how to get out of hustle and day to day into scaling, like big time scaling, and not making it more of me. Are you A or B? Or you're like, I don't know, I'm crossing wires. I'm both. Are you A or B? It's okay. This is a safe space to admit. Tell me in the chat. Are you A or B? B, and need to quit hustle mode. Okay. Karina, what will happen? Tell me in the chat, what will happen if you quit hustling? What do you think will happen? Or what are you afraid will happen? Limited strategy. Okay. Yeah. Usually it's like I'm limited and I don't actually know what to do, or I do know what to do and I'm not doing it. Or I literally don't know how to go from day to day to scale. I know who I work with, but it's getting them to see me in the world. Okay, perfect. That's a lot. That's a lot of everyone too. It's like, I know who I work with. I know what I want to do. I know what I'm good at. How do I get people to see me and buy from me? Yeah, it's a strategy for you. If I quit hustle mode, my nervous system won't be so chaotic. If you've always been in hustle mode, then your nervous system only knows hustle to be safe. Therefore, it will probably be like, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you slowing down? Don't do that. Okay, strategy. We're lacking strategy. Perfect. I want to know, based on this list, what do you guys think is your biggest identity block when scaling to six and multi six figures? Because what we're talking about right now is identity. What do you think your biggest identity block is? Maybe it's subconscious, meaning that your conscious brain doesn't know yet. Maybe it is really conscious. You're like, damn, I really do this thing over and over and over again. Yeah, fear of success is such a big one. What do you think it is? Do you think that you operate right now from your six and multi six figure self and identity? Like the way that you show up to your business, the way that you run your business, the way that you think about your business, the way that you do marketing and sales, and the way that you carry yourself is at a six and multi six figure level. And then, if the answer is no, do you even know what that looks like? Seeing what I'm not embodying. I'm not an expert. Okay. Do you know what is missing? Do you know the version of you that would be the identity of six and multi six figures? I need to control everything, literally has me strapped in the same place. Okay. What if I can't keep the money? Ooh, I overspend. I lose it. What if it's too much? Ooh, this is a good one. I'm going to tell you guys a secret about me. I was this version of fear of success because I had an uncle who became really successful when I was young, millions of dollars, moved out of state, bought a mansion. His wife quit her job, got a boob job. They got nannies and jet skis. They had an arcade in their upstairs. They're like millions of dollars made. Their business tanked. The wife left my uncle. They got a divorce. He had to sell everything. He lost everything and moved back to a trailer that he still lives into to this day. Never recouped the money, never recouped the business. So in my brain, I was always so fearful that if you create success and money, you will lose it. Like that was just my belief. So I made lots of money, multi six figures, had a six figure launch, burned down my whole business, lost more than six figures because of my own self-sabotage, because of my subconscious belief that if you make the money, it will be taken from you. You will lose it. You don't get to keep it forever. It's like an experience that you experience and then you lose. And I had to go through a major ego death around money and tangibles and the things to create a new subconscious belief around money and success and what success could actually be and look like, even if it wasn't material. And that changed my entire life and cracked me open to shadow work. And I was like, oh my God, my life has changed forever. And that has led me here, but I know exactly what that's like. Right. So that is all that is subconscious programming, not the truth. And because you're consciously aware means you can change it. The moment you can say it out of your mouth and you're like, this is what I'm afraid of, means you're consciously aware and you can change it, which is what all of you here need to know for multi six figures. Okay. I'm going to do something that's going to blow your mind, and I'm going to show you that the multi six successful empire building version of you already exists within you right now. Who here has heard, you're going to become her? No, you're not going to become her. You already are her. Stop letting people tell you're going to become her. And then this is what happens. When I make money, I will become her. When I sign clients, when I make $100,000, I will become her. And everyone sings, right? And the spirit team comes down and a white light goes over the top of you. God, I'm so dramatic. No, but what really happens is the version of you That version of you where the angels sing and the choir sings already exists within you. She already exists. And I'm going to prove it to you right now. Okay. Let's move gears. We've already talked about shadows and patterns of fear and survival that are running our business. But let's talk about the actual qualities that live within you and why you started a business to begin with, because all of you here chose entrepreneurship for a reason. Who here thinks I'm self led? I don't want to be told what to do. I don't want a boss. That sounds horrible. I don't like anyone telling me what to do. I'm my own person. Who thinks that? Put in the chat. What about bold, brave, confident? Anyone? Do you feel like that? Like, yeah, I'll tell a grown man where to go any day of the week. I've stand up to my mom, my dad, my aunt, my cousins, and a grown man on the corner. Anyone here? What about you feel energetically responsible? You love personal development. You're always trying to better yourself mentally and emotionally, and you always want to know why you do the things you do. You read books, you listen to podcasts. You're willing to know, why does my brain do this? I want to know these things about me. I always want to be better mentally. Yeah? What about abundant thinker? Right? Maybe you are abundantly thinking, and with your clients, you're like, I can always see really good perspectives. I can see what they're not seeing. I can like really get into my client's brain and understand them. Anyone? Yeah? What about vision driven? You have really good, big visions for yourself, for the future, for the world, for other women. And you're like, I can see it. I can see what's holding them back. I can see the way the world is, and I just want to make a big change, and I want to impact someone's life, and I have a story to tell, and I've been through so many things that I want to share this with the world. Anyone? I want to be in charge of my own life. That's me. Yes, that's me. Do you guys believe this is you? Do you believe that you have some kind of embodied authority or some kind of embodied confidence of like, let's take you on your best day. Picture this. You're ovulating. You look incredible. Your hair is done. You've got on your favorite outfit, and Cardi B just dropped her new album. Now, again, put yourself in whatever that is. I just like Cardi B, okay? And you're like, the sun is shining. My windows are down. I'm headed to get an iced coffee latte, and I'm going to go record the best podcast ever, and I'm about to change the world. And you've got your favorite heels on, right? And you're just like, life is so good right now. And you feel just like that confident version of you, right? We've all felt this in some way, shape, or form. Our best self, we've felt this, right? Resilient. Who here feels like they're resilient? I can get through anything. I can do anything. I've been through so much hard shit in my life. I can do almost anything. I've literally given birth to children. I can do anything, right? If this is you in any way, shape, or form, you have what is required inside of you right now to be successful. That is the version of you that makes a lot of money, that builds the business, that grows the business, that scales the business, that makes the big impact and has the freedom and the money. She already exists within you right now. But are you letting her make decisions? Are you letting her run your company? Are you letting her scale your business? Or do you go back to, but what if it doesn't work for me? But I don't know how, but I don't know all this steps. And what if I'm not good enough and I'm not skilled enough? And what if people don't like me? And what if? What version of you currently runs your business? The I don't know how, what if, scared, fearful, inner child runs your business? Or the version of you that we just explained is resilient and confident and vision driven and wants to change the world? Who runs your business? Tell me in the chat. The one thing that starts things, but gives up at 80%. That's self-sabotage. Justina, that's self-sabotage because you have a subconscious belief, which is now conscious, but you have a deep-rooted belief that if I create success, I'll lose it. I won't know what to do with it. Therefore, once I get 80% there, sabotage, quit, change, something. That is what is keeping you from what we're going to do over the next couple days together. Because over the next couple days together, tomorrow, we're going to talk about, can your business actually do that? Can it make $150,000 years, $250,000, $350,000, $500,000 years from a strategic standpoint? But then on day 3, we're going to talk about, okay, let's now build your 3-year plan. Let's build the vision. Let's talk about the business model. Let's talk about the offers and how much you're going to charge. Let's talk about the way that you're going to launch. That version of you that creates the plan and executes the plan has to be from your highest self that already exists within you, not the version of you that self-sabotages, not the version of you that's like, I can't handle success. Your identity comes before your strategy is even thought about. Inside the Expansion Room Mastermind, we do both. We upgrade your identity and you start making decisions from that identity. And when you don't, I'm going to drive you right back to, are you making decisions from your higher self identity? Right? And then we're going to create your 3-year plan together. And then we're going to execute year 1 together. And this is going to look like, what is your business model? What is your offers, your offerings? What's your launch plan? What's the cadence? What's your messaging? What's your marketing? How are you getting leads in the door? How many leads do you need to get? How are we going to get those leads? When those leads come in the door, what are we going to do with them? And for all of you here, when you're in this problem solving expansion empire building brain, you're like, oh my God, yes, let's do it. I cannot wait. What is the plan? Yes, I know leads can come from there. And then this is exactly what I could do for them. And that would be so fun. And then I can have this like podcast thing I put them through. And then that's going to lead them here. And then that's going to sell to them on autopilot. And your brain starts to get excited and problem solve. But when you're in survival, your brain is like, I cannot even think about all that right now. That was like way too much for my brain. That is why identity must come first. Because when you're still stuck in these micro specifics of, okay, but I don't really know how to talk to her, and I don't really know what she wants, and I don't really know what she desires, and I don't really know how she feels, and I don't know how to get into her brain, and I don't know how to speak her language. You're still stuck in these minor details instead of, okay, let me put myself in her shoes and problem solve this. I remember back when I was her, right? And you go to this problem solving place and you go to, this is really how I was feeling. And that's where your self-awareness that everyone claims they have is required to problem solve and make decisions, not only for your business, but like, who are you talking to? What are you doing? Are you operating your business like a business, or are you treating it like a side hustle? Because side hustles are fun. Side hustles just make a little bit of money here and there. And we just like post on the internet whatever we feel like it, whenever we feel like it, and we just make a little bit of money and whatever. But you signed up to be in my room to blow the fuck up. I don't do freelancing here. I go big and then I never go home. Always. And then I invite you into that fire to also go big. Because guess what? All of you here signed up to be here, meaning you want to go big. But then there's this brain, this voice in your brain that's like, do you really want to do that? Maybe we don't need to do that. Maybe we can just not go so big. And then the other one was like, girl, we want to go big. She's like, be quiet. We don't know how to go big. This is scary. She's yelling at me with red lipstick on. She's serious, right? Right? And I never go home. I just keep going bigger. And then I cry a little bit and then I go bigger again. And in my world, you're going to be called to do the same. Will it be scary? Yes. I'm scared all the time and I still do it. I'm like an anxious ridden crybaby and also like a bad bitch all in one. Because guess what? We're humans and we're experiencing the human experience of duality, of being a human, of experiencing real feelings, and fear is one of them. But I don't let fear drive my business or my dreams. Because guess what? I would never have the life I had if I said, well, I grew up in a trailer with a single mom and I was bullied in school because I was ugly and I was poor. And then I went to college, but then I dropped out and then I got pregnant after that. And my husband was absolutely horrible and he was an alcoholic. And I hated myself and I had codependency issues on men. And then I had no self-love and no degree and no experience. And then I quit my 9 to 5 while I was pregnant. If I let that be the thing that drove my decisions, I would not be here right now telling you I've been in business 10 full years. I've collectively made more than 7 figures. I have a global brand. I've been doing this so long. And I created the life I have, not because of a trust fund or something outside of me, but because I believed it. And then I created a strategy to do it. And then I executed that thing. And I failed many times. I've had lots of ups and downs. I have found what works and what doesn't work. And I'm here to tell it to you and hold your hand. And then also kind of pull you a little bit and say, let's go walk to the fire. You're bold, you're brave, you're resilient, you've done harder things, you want this life, we're going to create it together. And I'm going to show you how. And it starts right now with the identity that you're willing to operate from. Yeah, I run my fucking business and I still can't give myself full credit for the big part I've played. Yeah, Vera, that's what you have to clean up is how can I pour into myself? How can I love myself? Here's the thing. I have a belief that as a woman, as a mother, as a business owner, if you're not pouring so much into you first, and you're not so self-absorbed and loving yourself so hard, you are leaking so much energy and bullshit that is holding you back from the life you want. You will not be a better mother or a better business owner if you're always leaking out energy to everyone else. It comes from the love that you give within yourself. Because I love myself, because I am obsessed with myself and bettering myself and my brand and my business, I make more money, I have more freedom, I make more impact and change the world, and I'm a better mom because I'm showing 2 little girls how to love themselves, how to choose themselves, how to not be codependent on men, how to make money on their own, how to go after and chase their dreams no matter what they've been through. That is your job right now, is to operate from that identity. People will call you selfish. People will call you self-absorbed. People will call you a bitch. And you know what? I would much rather love myself and change the world than to project onto people my bullshit because I'm not willing to love myself. Loving yourself will change your life. It'll change your business. And it starts with this identity that you have to step into, make a priority and a habit. It's a habit that you have to start adopting to choose you, to operate as the version of you that loves herself and carries herself in that way. Because here's the thing is, when I go to sell to you guys, which I'm going to, again, do all week, when I go to sell you my $10,000 mastermind, which I know is going to change your whole life, I am so convicted in the work that I do. I know it will change your life. I'm not afraid to sell to you. I'm not afraid to tell you about how good this offer is and how much you need it. I'm not afraid to tell you the price. I'm not afraid to tell you that you have to pay a deposit immediately after you apply. And I'm not afraid to tell you about my offer because I believe in it, because that's the identity that I operate out of. That's the identity I operate from. And that is the difference between selling out your offers and blowing the fuck up and making a little bit of money. Okay? We are 10 minutes out from the hour. I want you to put in the chat, how do you feel at the end of day 1? You're like, what did I sign up for? I'm scared. Or you're like, no, this is what I needed to hear because even though I know these things, I'm still doing them. I'm still operating from them. I'm still falling back into these mindsets and these old patterns and these old habits. And I also know that I'm ready to go big and never go home. The childbirth thing hit home. That was hell. Yes, I gave birth all natural, no drugs, unmedicated. And I thought after this, I can do anything. I can do anything. If I can do this, I can do anything. I'll be expanded for a while and then something will happen and I'll make myself small. Ooh, and allow fear. Yes, this is a good one too. I've seen this. I've experienced this. You go really big, you go really big, you go really big. And then someone's like, I hate your offer. You suck. You shouldn't charge that. That's too much. And then my mom will be like, my mom just saw my new brand photos and she's like, you look like you need to eat a cheeseburger. And then my dad will be like, stop telling people you're the breadwinner. You shouldn't do that. And it used to crumble me. I'm like, maybe I shouldn't do that. Maybe I shouldn't say that. Maybe I shouldn't wear that. Maybe I should eat more. Oh my God. And now I'm like, I don't care what you say. It has nothing to do with me. If you think that I'm too skinny, that has everything to do with you. If you don't like the way that I run my business, again, what is that bringing up for you? Let's talk about it. I will psychoanalyze you, but do not project onto me. Now, again, I will take accountability when I'm wrong, even though I don't want to. I will. There's a difference though, but you have to find like, what is that? Where is my fire going out? Or I'm like letting my fire die out because I'm afraid that people will see me in my big, bold energy. What is that for you? Feeling hyped? Yes. It's what I needed. I don't know why I'm keeping myself small when I have never wanted to be small. Oh my gosh, this is so good. Yes, why are you doing that? Where is it coming from? Here's what I can also tell you too. Because I have such a big, bold personality, right? Because that sometimes when someone else does that can make other people be like, oh my God, I'm not doing enough, right? I want you to take this opportunity not to compare yourself to me, not to try to be me or to compare yourself to, well, I'm not really like her, or well, I don't really think like her, or I don't really look like her. And I want you to think about what is the fire within you? Because when you're in my world, I'm not going to tell you, you should do a funnel like this because I do. You should do an offer like this because I do. You should post on social media with your middle fingers up because I do. I'm never, ever going to tell you that, but I am going to want to know, what is your fire? What do you want? What is your empire? What is the money that you want to make? What is that fire within you? And I'm going to pull it out of you. And I'm going to say, that is the version of you that everyone else can see. And you're stifling her. And I'm going to pull that fire out of you. And then I'm going to say, okay, this is here. You already have it. It is yours, not mine. This is yours. This is like, you are so good at this. Why are you not using this? In my world, I'm going to show you the fire that already exists within you, and I'm going to ask you to let that bitch burn, even if people don't like it. I'm never going to ask you to be me, but I will absolutely push you to your full potential to expand past what you've ever thought was maybe possible for you. And that is why my mastermind is called the Expansion Room. You're going to expand in a way that you've never expanded before, internally and externally. This is the room where you become the version of you that builds the empire, that makes the decisions, that expands in ways when you are like, holy shit, this is like a totally different version of me that I ever even thought was possible. You guys can scroll back on my social media. I've been here a long time, and you can see the version of me then and the version of me now are way two different people. Like, way two different people. Then after that, we're going to build a tangible business model, a real business model. How do you get people? What do you do with them? What do we sell them into? What are you going to be known for? And how are we going to make the money you want to make and the freedom that you want a tangible freaking thing? And then I'm going to walk with you to execute that entire plan side by side and give you feedback and coaching and mentorship and auditing around your messaging and your offers and your funnels and all the things. And you're going to have a room full of women to support you because we're all in this room next level, challenging each other to work, become this identity, to operate at this level, right? It's going to change the way that you do business forever. You will never, never, ever see your life or your business the same after this. I can promise you, because you've never been taught from the business and identity work from me, but in the way that I do it. You haven't. I promise you. I promise you. You have not. And so welcome. We have just wrapped up day one, right? I want you to allow this hyped energy to fuel you for the rest of the day. I want you to really feel into this energy, this identity of making that amount of money. And I want you to allow the fears to come up or the scarcity to come up or whatever's going to come up. But instead of judging it and being like, oh my God, what's wrong with me? I want you to imagine you're watching it, like you're sitting in my chair and you're watching it on a screen and you're just thinking, I wonder where that came from. I wonder where that came from. I wonder what that is. And like from a place of like love and curiosity and like truly caring for yourself, because the only reason it's coming up is either you've been programmed that and that's someone else's belief that was given to you as a child, which is not your fault, but we don't have to carry it. Or, right, if it's not that conditioning, then the other reason that's coming up is because it thinks it's keeping you safe. They're doing their job, but don't freak out. I want you to just view those thoughts on a board. I wonder why that's coming up. Okay. And then I want you to think about if your higher self was in the room making decisions for this week, what would she do? She would come live. She would interact. She would ask questions. She would engage. She would not check out. She would apply for the mastermind. See how I threw that in there? What would she do? How would she think? How would she operate? Tomorrow, when we come back, 12 p.m. CST, same time, same room, we're going to talk about, can your business actually do that? What is required to make the amount of money you want to make? So between now and then, think about how much money you want to make, because I need those numbers to fuel this conversation. Can your business actually do that? Okay. This replay will be posted in your portal. In your in the community, there's a tab called Classroom. You tap on it. The second little square over says how to blow the fuck up in 2026. If you open it, was where the pre-work was. We'll have this replay, the worksheet of what I talked about today. All replays will be posted in there. Use the community, ask questions, be seen, bring your things, bring your shadows, bring your thoughts, bring every single thing to the table, because that is how I can help you. If you have questions about the mastermind, reach out to me personally. I'm happy to walk you through it. If mastermind happens to not be for you, or I don't think you're ready, or you don't think you're ready, I have an alternative option, academy, which is solely about embodying your higher self. I won't be like really diving a lot into that. But if you're like, I'm not sure which one is best for me, just ask me. I will tell you, and I will be really honest with you. Because if you're going to join the mastermind, that means you've made at least 35K a year and you are ready to grow and scale. You're ready to make money. You're ready to do the plan. You're ready to step into your highest self, even if it's scary, even if it makes you want to throw up a little bit. That means it's the perfect place for you. Thank you guys so much for being here, for being live. I will see all of you tomorrow, same time. I'm so incredibly glad I've been able to be here and to teach you. And moving forward, I want you to think about, what would my higher self do? Okay? Bye, everyone.